Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at filtering podcasts on a WordPress site, one of the most popular requests in our support channel of users using WordPress who say, hey, I have my podcast. This is just a sample site here of just some podcast episodes, but I want to filter them. I want to have people land on my all podcast page like we see here, but I want to give them some filters to just drill down on, well, data that you want to put in. I'm going to show you the fastest way to do this, and then I'm going to show you a more detailed way to do this in two different parts to this video. Let's go to the back end of WordPress. The two plugins we're going to use today to demonstrate this is, of course, you're using Seriously Simple Podcasting for your podcast hosted on WordPress or connected up to your Castos account, Seriously Simple Podcasting. And then Filter Everything. That's the name of the plugin. It's called Filter Everything. It's a WordPress plugin. You can get it for free. There's a pro version, which does some extended things that you might want, depending on what your needs are for filtering your podcast. But the core of the plugin works really easy, and it might work for you. And then Advanced Custom Fields, which is a really well-known plugin for doing some really technical development things, over 2 million installs across WordPress websites. Use this if you're looking to figure out how to filter your podcasts with any kind of data in all sorts of ways. Okay, the easiest and most straightforward way to create a filter is by leveraging what's known as tags. You can see if I quick edit this podcast post, I have a tag here called podcasting. I have another tag here called marketing on this post. And we have tags built in by default. This is a WordPress thing. This is not a Seriously Simple podcasting plugin thing. This is just, we developed this plugin to work natively with WordPress as close as possible. Podcasts are what's known as custom post types, and these tags are associated with custom post types, and you can create as many tags as you want. But if you want to create a filter for those, create your selection of tags first, and then we'll go into the Filter Everything plugin. And I already have one created here. It's called the Podcast Tag Filter. Let's edit that so we can see what it looks like. The post type to filter is podcast, because that's what we're working with. You can do posts, pages, but obviously for today's demonstration, we're interested in a podcast. And then I created a filter called tags, and it's going to filter it by tags. Let's delete it so we can see the creation of it. So I'm going to go add filter, filter by. What do we want to filter by? Tags, themes, template parts, custom fields. Nope, tags. Those are the tags we just showed you. I'm just going to say the label is called tags to make it easy, and hit add filter. Oops, nope. I'm going to delete that. Sorry, that's to add another filter, and that's it. You just add your first one and you're done. I'm going to go ahead and hit update. Now, there's a bunch of other settings in this plugin. I'm only showing you how to do this the most streamlined way with tags. Okay. In my theme, I'm going to go to Appearance, Widgets, and in my sidebar, take a look at the website so you can see it. This is just a static page right here, and then there's a sidebar here. This is the Generate Press theme. I'm going to add the filter widget, Filter Everything, filters. I'm just going to drop it in. That's it. And I'm going to say filter podcasts. Hit update. That's going to save the widget into that sidebar. And now we're going to click on the podcast menu item. And there you have it, Filter Podcast Tags. And you can see all of the tags that I have in my WordPress website. Some, or many, are not being used, but podcasting is being used on one. So when we click that, it brings me to that one podcast that has the podcasting tag. I can do marketing. That brings up the marketing one. I don't need to use checkboxes. You have that option in the filters to select that, or I can just uncheck it and use marketing. I'll add another podcast with a different tag. We'll do quick edit, tag, interviews, I believe was a tag that I used. So update. Now you see we have our interviews tag back here. refresh. There you have it. There's the interviews tag. The one that indicates that, hey, we have a new podcast that was marked as an interview when we click that. Boom, highlights it right there. Okay. And you can see the plugin adds a little bit of UI, a little bit of user interface above the archives title here. It says reset all, and it shows the filters that we selected. So one might say, who's been around WordPress for a while, hey, Matt, there's a widget that does tags. Well, yes, it doesn't look like this. I think it's more like a tag cloud. It doesn't give you that granular control. You certainly can't check mark it to have many selected. And it doesn't give you this nice little filtering UI on the top of the page. Your mileage may vary depending on your WordPress theme, of course. Does your theme have a sidebar? That's what you have to figure out first. Are you using a page builder where you can put a sidebar in and load a widget? Maybe that's another thing you have to figure out. And does your theme actually allow it to display this here? You might have to check with your theme, test it out on a staging site first. Okay, that's the fastest way to do it. Use tags, use the filter everything plugin. Very easy, but limited, right? Because now you only have tags to work with. Maybe you want more, maybe you want something else. That's where custom fields comes into play. Now, this is a very complex plugin. You can do many, many things with it. We're only going to cover one thing, real straightforward, so that this video doesn't go on in infinity. Let's add a new group. We'll call this podcast filtering. And just like the filter everything plugin, what do we want to add these custom fields to? Well, we want to add them to the post type is equal to podcast. And advanced custom fields will add fields or ways for you to select data or input data or select fields inside of your custom post type. You'll see that in a second here. So post type is equal to podcast. Let's add a field. We'll call this field length. That'll be the label. The field name will be length. Field type, this is where you can see there's so much here in advanced custom fields. But what we're going to say is, hey, this is going to be a select field. We're going to select things from a dropdown. There's an instructions field here. You can fill it out if you want. Please select the length of your podcast. This is if you're maybe working with an editor or producer who uploads shows. And the choice is one by line. So I'm going to just say, maybe we want to have this custom field called length. And we'll say less than 60 minutes, between 60 minutes, between 60 and 120 minutes, or greater than 120 minutes. Now you can see I'm typing in text, I'm putting in numbers. This is a choice box. It's going to be a drop-down box that we can select from. You can literally create any kind of data, any kind of field that you want. It's not really limited when it comes to advanced custom fields, although in the name, it's advanced. So you got to be a little bit more advanced to wrap your head around advanced custom fields. Okay, so I create this field called length. Let me go to my podcast episodes. Let's edit this first one. You can see right here, I have this new field called length. Less than 60 minutes, between 60 and 120, greater than 120. So this one I'm just going to say, well, that's less than 60. Let's go back. Let's just select 3 of them in all different ranges, between 60 and 120. Update. And we'll do this third one, greater than 120 minutes. Update. Okay, so we've set 3 different fields for these 3 different podcasts. Now we have to display those advanced custom fields inside of our filter everything widget. The label's called length. The field name is called length. Keep that in mind when you go to set yours up. You'll need to remember the name. Go to filters, filter sets. Let's edit our podcast tag filter. Now we'll add another filter. This one will say custom field. This is called length. The label is length. And we'll say podcast length for the variable name in the URL. And then we'll do radio buttons for this one. Okay. We'll update that. Back to our home page. Now remember, this is just basic tags. Now we'll hit refresh. and our custom fields appear below. So now we can filter down to the podcasts that have the different custom fields that we've selected for each of those posts. And you can see that if we get rid of that marketing tag, this is like a double filter. So now you can say, hey, show me all of the marketing podcasts, and then any of the marketing podcasts that are between 60 and 120 minutes. If I had more marketing podcasts that had different ranges that I had selected, you'd see those highlight, but you can see there's only 1 in 1 of the matching data points. But if I uncheck that marketing and I go to less than 60 minutes, now we can see, oh, there's a podcast about podcasting that I can filter down to. So really powerful stuff, all for free. Let's take a recap real quick. It's the Filter Everything plugin. Your easiest route is to just use tags, knowing that tags can get kind of messy. It's limited. You're not going to be able to create those real custom labels and fields like I showed you with advanced custom fields. But then when you're ready to step up, use advanced custom fields for free, create whatever you want for an input. And for fields, there's a huge amount of options available for you for creating advanced custom fields, though a little bit more advanced. So that's filtering podcasts, seriously simple podcasting, a couple other filtering plugins and advanced custom fields. You can create some fun stuff, especially if you have a podcast network or just thousands of podcasts. If you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want more, leave a comment in the comments below if you have any questions for us. Go to Castos.com, start your podcast, or search for Seriously Simple Podcasting for free at WordPress.org. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next episode.